South Asian art is growing in stature, both at home and abroad. We see this in the region's art fairs and biennials, and rising prices at auction houses. A major force behind this growth is the Samdani Art Foundation, which supports art in Bangladesh and South Asia through a range of initiatives, including the world-renowned Dhaka Arts Summit. Thanks for watching Mojarto Conversations. I'm Anu Subramanian. Today I'm sitting down with Rajeeb and Nadia Samdani. They head up the Samdani Arts Foundation, which is based in Bangladesh, and they're also the minds behind the Dhaka Arts Summit, which brings so much prestige and great art to Bangladesh and is really rising the stature of South Asian art in the eyes of the global art market. Wow, it's so great to sit down with you both today. Thanks for being here. So tell me a little bit about the Samdani Arts Foundation.
We started the Samdani Art Foundation in 2011, keeping in mind that we wanted to support South Asian artists as well as Bangladeshi artists, and we wanted to create a platform for these artists.
We had this thing in mind that we wanted to create a platform for South Asian art, because there were a lot of talks about South Asian art, and then we sort of thought about it, that what is actually the definition of South Asia, how many countries are there, and then we realized that there are 7-8 countries in South Asia, and definition of South Asian art to the West was a bit different, and there were a lot of other countries where there are a lot of interesting artists, they were not getting the exposure. And that is how it all started.
What's been interesting is to see how the Western gaze has actually changed in response to this. Before, it seemed like when Western museums thought of Indian art, they just thought of brocade and gold-studded, jewelry-studded artworks. But now they're seeing a very rigorous contemporary practice here. But was there a turning point? What was that moment when you guys decided that you wanted to start this?
It started off by collecting, and we both started collecting, and we first started collecting with Bangladeshi art, and then we moved to South Asian art, mostly Indian and Pakistani. And then we realized that, when we would travel a lot for art, to different fairs, biennales, exhibitions, and we noticed that the presence of Bangladesh was very little, and hardly people knew about Bangladeshi artists. There was hardly any museum presence or biennale presence. So we felt that, how come, there's no exposure, nobody knows anything. That's how the idea was born, that we wanted to, support and promote Bangladeshi artists. So
and that was the time we were also collecting, a lot of young artists. And we knew that we have got a lot of talented artists in Bangladesh, but rest of the world had no clue. And then we thought that, how do we also promote Bangladeshi art? And just promoting Bangladeshi art alone, compared to if that is how we thought that, instead of just promoting Bangladeshi art, if we promote the South Asian art as a whole, and if we create a platform, that will be interesting for the West, because Western world, because if you look at the art market, actually today the art market has moved from West to the East. And probably China is one of the biggest art market in the world today. So instead of just promoting Bangladesh, we thought that, okay, there are a lot of talks about South Asian art, and we wanted to create a platform. So that will be interesting for the people, and this platform will be a platform where researchers will come, curators will come, gallerists will come to make new discoveries. So, for Dhaka Arts Summit, we always say it's a breath of fresh air, because every edition actually is also different.
In places where the gallery scene is not so big, events like India Art Fair, Dhaka Arts Summit, they don't just work as a great way to elevate the art, it's also sort of organizational. You find out the artists and they get to come together. But that first time of bringing the artists together for Dhaka Arts Summit must have been difficult. How did you find them?
I think both. South Asian market is more aware of these artists, and also international market is aware. Like, we've had, so far we had 3 editions, because the Dhaka Arts Summit, it's a biannual event. It's 2 years of research, and then we have a 4-day event. So far in these 3 editions, we've seen a lot of success stories. Now we see, South Asian artists, Bangladeshi artists having presence in a lot of museum shows, good big collections, a lot of international exhibitions, being included in biennales. So these things are success.
And the amazing thing is that a lot of our shows actually travel all around the world. Even last year also one of our exhibition that was curated by Nada Raza from Tate for Dhaka Arts Summit, that entire exhibition actually traveled to OCA in Norway. And in Norway, that was their first ever South Asian artist exhibition.
So Dhaka Arts Summit is a non-commercial event. Can you demarcate what that means from, say, an India Art Fair and other art shows?
It's like a biennale, but then again we call it a summit because our model is a little bit different because we work with multiple curators, and the curators are mostly institutional curators, and they're invited at least 2 years ahead, and they come into Dhaka multiple times for their research. They travel around South Asia, and which is supported by the foundation. And we invite artists to come over for the solo projects. Our artistic director is Diana Campbell, so she's actually heading the Dhaka Arts Summit.
And also, we have speaker panels. So there is, we invite, speakers from all over the world. There is multiple session of speaker panels. Other than this, we have performances. And last year also we added 2 new things. One was the architecture. So last year actually we partnered with Center Pompidou, and we did an architecture exhibition of Bangladeshi architects, and also we did a critical writing ensemble, because one thing we have realized that in the region we are also suffering when it comes to art journalism. And Dhaka Art Summit is a completely non-commercial event, and it is open to the public. And we also organize it in collaboration with our cultural ministry and Bangladesh Shilpakala Academy, which is the National Gallery of Fine and Performing Arts.
So when the works aren't for sale, what does that do for the nature of the art?
The obviously the works are all selected by the curators. So from edition to edition, it is a bit different, but I'll just explain you a bit that, say the last edition, we also included the modern artists. So the edition before that in 2014, we were more focused toward the emerging and contemporary artists, whereas 2016 we have included modern artists from all over the region. A lot of works are also very experimental. Lot of the times different artists, they have different ideas, or they have different dream projects that they want to do.
When you see it from the beginning to the end, meaning when you're working with the artist, you see they come in, they have an idea initially, and then they give a proposal, and how over time the proposal changes. Sometimes it's the same, sometimes it grows, sometimes and then the end, you see the end and you're part of the journey with the artist.
Yeah, a simple example is that, say, Mitu Sen, Indian artist Mitu Sen. So when she participated in Dhaka Art Summit in 2014, so she wanted to do a project with rejected poetry. So it was actually quite challenging, because, who is willing to accept that, yes, this is what I have written and it got rejected. So she was doing her research in Bangladesh with 70, 80 poets, going, meeting people, convincing them.
But rejected from getting published?
Yeah.
Getting published. But it's not that easy that someone will come forward and proudly tell you that, yes,
Ego hit.
So lot of different projects, say Shilpa Gupta's another project she did also in 2014, where she was doing research about the Chitmahals. So Chitmahals are the, some of the Bangladeshi villages that are in India, and some of the Indian villages in Bangladesh. And those people don't have identity, they're the villages of Bangladesh in India, they're actually using someone else's identity there. So, she wanted to do her research. She went to the border multiple times. She's still working on that project. So a lot of different, this sort of experimental projects you will see in Dhaka Arts Summit.
And we will get to more of that in just a minute. We're going to take a quick break, but when we get back, we'll continue our conversation with Rajeeb and Nadia Samdani. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.